So I'm fine with that, and not fine, but business is good. So I'm going in that direction. I originally started down the content. I've always done content. So I've had 10 years of blogs, stuff like that. I've always done a lot of content. So I've just continued to leverage it more and more and more and more and more. So to me, I'm big on leverage. I'm big on just not working too hard.
Yeah.
But
inbound.
Yeah. Yep. Just let it go. I have a sidebar situation going on right now where I'm opening the door on a franchise and going to have access to coaching, several hundred people in their franchise.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So I have, and I'm doing 5 of them right now, and it's just kind of starting to build momentum. So I'm a little bit sensitive where I wasn't as sensitive before. Like, okay, I've got to make sure that I manage it. But I'm a big one of, I teach my clients. So I want to be able to do what I tell them to do as well.
Yeah.
So there's an element of that. I feel like I get stronger as a coach when I understand more leverage and how to use it better. So it's not that I have this, would I like to do some leverage programs? Absolutely. But I also say I just get better and better at coaching them when I have options like that. So it's a lot about leverage. My goal this year is to have 1,000 followers on YouTube. I'd love 5,000. I mean, that would be awesome. But I'm looking at, okay, what's 5,000? I'm ahead of 1,000. I'm ahead of schedule right now. I did a reaction video last week that hasn't been published yet.
Cool.
So let me tell you who I have in my team. So I have a LinkedIn and a Facebook guy who's been working for me for 5 or 6 years, and just
awesome. Okay,
and he's just been doing. I don't think he's very high quality, but he just keeps the conversation. So to me, I'm kind of like, and I pay him almost nothing, and so he's kind of like, okay, he keeps the conversation when I can't.
Sure.
I have a YouTube guy in London who is basically coaching me on how to do some of the YouTube, and he's doing some of my thumbnails, and he's trying to keep some of the things. He's trying to help me through that process.
Cool.
He's not blowing the doors off, but he's doing some YouTube advertising a little bit to get my videos or promotion, I guess, to get my videos out. I don't fully understand all the things he's doing. I just know that he's doing it.
Okay.
Which is not like me. I normally know a little bit more. I'm an engineer. I have a technical background. So cool. I've launched many websites over my years, but I don't want to have to do that either, in that respect. So I dabble in it enough to be dangerous. So I have the YouTube guy, the Facebook, LinkedIn guy. I'm obviously using Connected and starting to leverage that more and leverage it with my clients more. So I have the enterprise to do that. From the blog writing, I have a blog writer who's been writing for me for about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. She curates my content when I do video and then writes blogs on it. So she leverages that, but she also writes amazing content. And I give her some different sources, like more, I wouldn't call them internal sources, but kind of, okay, this coach is doing this and this, and internal newsletter. She curates that. I get responses on my emails, at least every email or every other email, and she does once a week. I get a call that says, hey, can you present to this group, or can you do something for this group? Because I read your email.
Awesome.
So I'm doing a presentation tonight. They're like, hey, can you present on this email? I'm like, let me see the email because I didn't read it in the first place. So I look at the email and go, sure, I can present on that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So that's kind of who I have. So my blog writer, my YouTube, my Facebook, social media, and I do obviously my own videos and stuff like that. So I will do my own writing. And I did my own writing for 6-7 years, so it wasn't a big deal. But I do more video, more script writing for my videos in that element.
Sure.
Does that help?
Absolutely does. And I love what you're saying about leverage, because obviously not only do all these more authority pieces and content going out there, delivering that education value, not only is that going to increase your status signals and, kind of just give you a lot more leverage within business and then the marketplace, but for all your coaches and this team, this community that you're really building, the more you're popular and well-known and your content's popping off and you have all these kind of cool speaking opportunities coming from your content, it's literally going to be inspirational to them. It's what Russell Brunson talks about, with the charismatic leader. And so you're going to be that visionary, kind of leader leading the charge, and by your social media and content popping off, it'll encourage all of them to make content, and they'll see what you're doing and they'll copy ideas, and then all of a sudden like you'll just have this like ripple effect of this impact that you're having on the marketplace, because so many of your coaches are starting to create content in the same way that you are. So yeah, I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah, and that's what happened. I mean, last year for my client base, a bunch of them created video, because I started the video. Obviously, last year was a big year. And one of the things I went out with early, which is kind of an interesting side note, but it's worth stating. Day one of the pandemic, when things are shut down, I did webinars all week long for 350 people a day to teach them about how to manage through a pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So I like doing webinars, did that. But then the other thing I did, and I did it for about 4 months, and I still occasionally do it, is I taught about 3,700 people how to Zoom. So just, hey, you need to get on, you need to leverage it. So I get opportunities to do kind of unusual things, like the National Indian Tribe contacted me to run their 8-hour Zoom conference nationally.
What?
So wacky things like that. I'm like,
wow.
So I have a little bit of this Zoom persona over here that people are like, can you run my not-for-profit alliance? So I get kind of asked to either participate in or coach organizations that want to leverage technology.
Beautiful. And are you able to are you getting content? I think I saw on some, but you're getting that content so you can share it online. Okay, I just did this webinar, just did this live virtual training. Here's a snippet from it, posting on your social media, that kind of stuff.
I'm not doing as much. I know Devin talked about that last time. He talked about taking some of my bigger content and doing 90 seconds and stuff like that. Not doing, because one of the things I really, really don't like to do and don't get a lot of value out of, and I say that lightly, is I do almost no editing ever. I'm not an editor, and I don't, not me, but I feel like there's a lot of wasted energy and time in editing. So I use a teleprompter, I go live, I clip, I edit almost nothing. I do.
Sure.
Because I just find it's wasteful energy.
Yeah, I mean.
So I need to do more. I know I need to do more.
Because I see your point about how much effort and production goes into editing, but one thing that you could do from an editing standpoint that's would make it worth it is just creating the snippets. For example, your YouTube videos, and we'll dive into a few stuff here in a second.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so, but I don't do editing in general, so I understand what you mean by taking a clip and then putting some front and back on it and packaging it. Just that I'm okay with. Cool. I just don't want to do okay, I'm here and I'm there and here's a picture in the middle and blah,
all these edits, and it's a lot of work. It takes so much. I mean, with the amount of content that you're posting out, if you want to do all this edit stuff, you'd have to get a full-time editor, because it takes so much time. And then it's do you want to even do that? And not everyone needs to.
Yeah, and I'm hoping I don't need to, because I'm doing some, the thumbnails are cool and some of the other stuff. So I kind of can I get around it? And I'm trying to teach my clients to get around it. So I don't want them to think they have to have a full-time editor either.
Yeah.
So that's part of why I do it the way I do it.
The nice thing is, and I'll give you a process and a checklist after this, but I've actually built a process for VAs, someone who $3-4 an hour type of editing stuff, a way for them to take 20-minute videos and 2 or 3 little bite-sized clips for Instagram or LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. So that way, even if you did, which I think you'd be able to do that stuff pretty easily, but even if you did want to outsource that,
and I'm okay with outsourcing that stuff. I just think that you can get in this rat hole where you don't know how much money you're spending for
That's
people
fair.
to
Absolutely.
just cycle through that video, just because you have to watch it. It's time consuming.
And the money, some people, they'll overcharge for production, and it's if your content is just an inbound lead strategy, then just see what you can do, low effort, organic, and as you're seeing things working, okay, then maybe put some more resources and amplify what's working. But way too often people are, they see Gary Vee and then they go buy, get a $30,000-$40,000 video editor. And it's let's crawl before you walk. Make sure you have a proven kind of intentional purpose for all this effort that you're putting into it. So I totally know what you mean.
Okay.
Cool. So,
and I'm curious about the reaction videos, because it hasn't gone live yet, and I love it. I did an Undercover Billionaire. I loved it.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
And I have someone else editing, the YouTube guy in London is editing it for me. He's I really want you to do this. We're going to take care of the editing. I'm like, okay. So, but I worry about copyright.
Can you send it to me, and I'll look into it, because I've done all connected viral ads and have a decent understanding of
what I mean?
right. So yeah. Definitely send it to me and I'll look into it.
Okay, yeah, I'm worried about it because Undercover Billionaire, you have to pay for it to watch it right now.
Right, because that's a TV show, isn't it?
It's a TV show. It's got what's his name? Grant Cardone does the next one. Season 1 with Gary Stearns.
And you're basically just doing like a spoof of your own version of it.
No, I'm actually watch the videos being played, and Gary Stearns walks up and does something, and I'm like, I pause the video and go, okay, well, here's what I'm telling you about. This guy's got connections, and he's over there walking by himself in an alley.
Okay,
This is a guy who's great at connecting people, and he's great at making relationships, and he's not surrounding himself with anybody yet.
Yeah.
Like, why is he wasting day after day without making connections when he knows connections are where everything's at? So,
so if it's a reaction video, yeah, I'll look at it and I'll let you know my thoughts. But okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of give you like, and this is also being recorded, by the way, so don't like you have to take notes, whatever. But I'm gonna give you like really high level view over all your different social media things, some things you can do to kind of tighten up a little bit, maybe add some aesthetics, and then I'll kind of share like growth strategy for each one of those, whether it be organic or paid or kind of some version of that.
The other thing I'm not doing, the other thing I'm trying to do right now, and you can see it a little bit on my stuff, there's no brand. And I know that because I don't want to be I don't want to put Action Coach on it because I just don't know where that's, I have my contract and I just don't know. So I'm purposely brandless, which I think is a little problem. And I'm working on someone to develop a brand.
Okay, good.
But so I just want to let you know that if you see that, you're like, there's no brand anywhere.
And that's perfect, honestly, that you're going through that brand development process, because one of the last things that I'll kind of talk about is, I know something that Devin talked about is called a topic wheel, and it's a content and kind of brand singularity type of strategy where once you start to find these different, like for Action Coaches, coaching, like that's a big topic of yours, but I can see that you're an entrepreneur, you have multiple different passions and missions, and so a topic wheel is a nice way for you to kind of like formulate all these different entities and verticals and mission statements and purposes and business verticals that you might be in. But additionally, not only kind of like formulate all that, it'll give you honestly an infinite content, like ideation supply strategy. Like if you're ever like, oh man, I don't know what content to make, which you probably aren't because you've been in this game for like a decade or so, or you've been making content for very long. This is just a nice way for you to just continue to come up with content, repurpose that content, and it's all kind of singly focused around whatever that brand that you want to create.
And Devin showed us the content creator, the content wheel. Yep. He showed us that. He did show
the topic wheel. Yep.
Wheel.
And so I'll show you that. And if you want, we can definitely talk about like if you want help building one of those, like it's like a whole process, of course. Like I can work with you on that, but I'll kind of show you high level. And honestly, you'll probably get the gist. But I can just do it for myself, and then that's perfect.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with what it was. So I'm not. Yeah, and I never run out of content. I just go to my bookshelf and pull off a book, and I do a book.
Awesome. Cool. So. So you're right. I mean, your thumbnails are awesome. Like you said, you have a person making these thumbnails for you. Yeah, these are so amazing. And I see like some of them, you got like 500 views. So are these ads being ran on these, or are these organic?
I believe they're anything that has like the 3, 4, 500 are organic. The one that was just released today they're doing a ton of stuff this week. So I'm not releasing another video because they said they just release it. They're going to go full out on that one.
Cool.
So I don't know what that means, but it was just released this morning.
Cool. Yeah, I like how you have some level of a paid strategy, because paid, if you have a budget for it, like paid is just a great way to like get more eyeballs. But something like from an organic standpoint, something that you could start doing either for yourself or have this YouTube person doing it, is just a little bit more SEO stuff. I'm guessing you have like the tags and like that basic stuff, right?
Yes. I don't know what this one is. This is mine?
No. This is actually a client of mine. You know who Joey Chestnut is?
No.
Okay, so this is a client of mine. Here, let me just search it up. This is outside of Connected, but there's a lot of just like stuff that I learned on Joey. I can kind of do it with Connected, but this is a client of mine. He's the world famous hot dog eater, and he eats all these foods. Yeah, okay, so maybe you've seen him. And so I manage his channel, and make all his content for him, and like we've had some really, really good videos. And honestly, like I can share a ton of strategies on YouTube. But one thing that I really started to do with him is all these tags that you probably already have set up for your brand.
I do use the tags. I use vidIQ. I use TubeBuddy.
Perfect. Yep.
And I use tags. I use end cards, cards in general.
Yep.
And I use vidIQ to find them. I curate them from other places.
Perfect. Yep.
Videos that are similar to do that. Yes.
Keep doing all that, and then take these tags and literally put them in the bottom of the description.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
That's just, so like your descriptions are already great. You got all your social links. That's great. So just take all those tags and kind of individually like this. So that way people don't see there's that thing. And then a small little thing is the file names for your videos. Just make sure they aren't like video upload
MP,
one.
something. Yeah. Because I
Exactly.
didn't know if that was important because I some of them are and some of them aren't.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's an important one. So this was a video that was sponsored by DraftKings. So we want to make sure we put DraftKings in the file name so you can rank for that. So just a few small things there. Honestly, YouTube is doing great. Just start putting out more reps. And an idea for you
More
for
what?
more reps, like kind of like you're working out, you're working your muscles, like just more reps, putting
3
out
a
more.
week is a lot for me.
So what I'm thinking is incorporating this repurposing strategy, right? So like you have the 7-minute video, 10-minute video, 7-minute video here. And I would even encourage you to start, making some more longer form videos, like 12, 15 minutes, that kind of stuff. Because like if you go to like Joe Rogan's podcast, YouTube channels, for example, he's got his 2-hour long segments, this crazy long form content, but then his editing team will create like 25 or 15 little, these little snippets off that one long form video. So
you put them all up there though?
Do what?
Do you like, okay, so let's say you take one of mine and it's a 10-minute video or something, and I want to take 2 minutes out of it, right? Do I put the 2-minute one on YouTube as well under a different title, under a different, like, what do I?
Exactly. So I would just, like, let's say you have a 2-minute video, right? And for 2 minutes, you just start flowing on the power and the importance of culture within a leadership position, right? Like, so if you're a coach, the culture and dynamic between you and your client relationship is super important. And so maybe you have all these topics in this video, but for 1 2-minute mark, you like narrow down on this one thing. So you could go to your editor or yourself to, oh yeah, I want to cut out these 2 minutes and then make a video specifically on like whatever those 2 minutes are. And at the end of the description, you can say this is pulled from this YouTube video, so you can put like the main YouTube link.
Yeah,
in that video.
Point at it, kind of thing. Yeah, okay.
Exactly, and what that'll do is literally that's just YouTube is a search engine, right? So just the more content you can put out with all the tags and all that kind of stuff, it's just gonna increase the people that might be kind of like floating to your channel. So yeah, honestly, your YouTube's great, the thumbnails are great, the content is great. You just start putting out more reps. See if you can. Not even having to increase the amount of content that you're doing, but maybe just going a little bit more longer form, and then just having like for each one of those videos, maybe finding 1 or 2 just solid 2-minute clip marks that you could also put on YouTube. And then you can also take that little clip for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, etc. too. But for YouTube specifically, I think just getting out more reps, getting out more posts with the tags and all these different SEO functions, as well as, you're running some ads on the side of things. That'd be nice. And additionally, if you start to have this content strategy on your YouTube where you have some like a good amount of long form content and short form content, honestly, kind of like what you already do, but I'll just encourage more. You got 10 minutes and 2 minutes, users who are coming to your platform, when they don't learn, they want kind of almost different bite-sized chunks of information. If they want a long form, sometimes they're in the mood for that, or sometimes they're in the mood for like, okay, just give me something real short and quick and simple, and so kind of diversifying the format lengths of your content will just increase the audience and just how much people are engaging with with your content. Kind of like an analogy or like a perspective that I like to have with personal brands on social media is, you're building an ecosystem, right? And so you have all these different touch points, you have all these different kind of things, different moving parts, these different mechanisms and functions, pieces of content, different ways that people can interact with your brand. And since you do want to go all out with attention, just the more stuff that you can put out, since you already have the quality, right? Why not try to increase the quantity a little bit?
So let me throw that out there. So right now I do 3 videos a week, and I tend to do one longer one, and then the other 2 are depend on what's going on.
Sure.
How much time I have for. I typically take one of my old blogs and I do almost no work. I dump it into my teleprompter and just read it.
Nice.
So I don't have to work, because I'm all about not working real hard. So so I can get one out of my blogs, and then I can do one that's longer that I have to actually curate and kind of work through a little bit to get the right content, and then one depends on what I'm feeling like. If I take that 10-minute one and I find, you're saying longer, you're saying 15 20 minutes?
Yeah, like it's just interesting. I've talked to a lot of YouTube just content creators, and like if you're wanting to build up your YouTube base, just having like more longer form content, like I've seen the sweet spot is between 8 to 12 minutes. And especially if you eventually want to have AdSense on your YouTube channel. Like I know this is totally inbound for your business, but just having a little bit more longer form on YouTube is just it works really well. YouTube is like one of those few platforms where ironically longer form video often performs even better versus like TikTok and some of these other platforms. It's like every
So let me
single
throw that-
second.
Let me throw something at you then, because like tonight I'm doing a speaking engagement. I'll get the video from that if I want. I'm assuming it'll, based on what I understand from last time I did it, it's Zoom. There's all these people on it. I don't want to go down that path with all these people, right? I want it to be about me,
Mhm.
and not have whoever's on it. So I get the video, use an editor, then they can obviously do a lot more clipping on it, because
Yes.
that's an hour long.
Oh, perfect. Amazing. Yeah. And
So I have a lot of those that I've done an hour long on. They just happen to have either other people in them or other things. If you go down to my channel that is, or my playlist, which is, I believe, Survive and Thrive playlist, you go down, yeah, that one. That was the first, that was like over a 10-day period of time. Those are
oh,
all
wow. Nice.
20 minutes or so,
Yeah. Nice.
and they're all about 20 minutes. And it's a webinar, so I'm talking to people. So I could potentially take those. They're very pandemic-ish, but there's a lot of stuff that's not pandemic
Cool.
in them that we can probably take some pieces out, because it was a series, in that respect. Okay. So I'm just trying to think on how I could do it, because I can't do more than 3 right now.
Yeah.
It just isn't going to work, but I can take an old one and curate one of them.
Absolutely. I mean, content, like the what's the word for retail products? It's like the life for content can really be expanded over time. You can kind of really repackage it, whether it's content from 6 months ago or like an hour-long video. Like there's so much content in there, and so if you just have more of a focus on, okay, how can I just repurpose my existing content versus trying to create more content, then I think that could just produce like a lot of good results for you on social.
Okay, so if I still stick to about 3 videos a week, are you saying go to more than 3 videos a week?
More posts. So like if you could stick to 3 videos a week and maybe make that like one. So for example, like here's LA Drake, here's our CMO. This strategy that I'm about to show you is actually a strategy that we're going to be doing for all of the co-founders. But if I go to his most popular videos, he's got this 53-minute video. It's like it was almost like a full webinar, honestly. And it's just presentation style. So he's talking in the first, but the rest is just literally him as a presentation style. This one video has literally, it's got only, 15,000 views.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. But this one video has literally generated over $200,000 in revenue for Connector. Because when you search up LinkedIn automation, this ranks up high. So if you have longer people watching your content for longer durations of time, this is another reason why long form video performs well. Then the algorithm will be like, oh wait, this is really interesting. If 80% of the people watching this video are watching this, watching for 30 minutes in this video, then there must be something really good. And so it's going to, have a higher chance of ranking. Additionally, since you not only have a higher chance of ranking higher with just increased viewership watch time, which is like a really important metric that the YouTube algorithm is looking from this one video, our social team has been able to create so many little snippets off of it for social media. So Elliot really just had to sit down for an hour one time, but it's probably produced content and has been an evergreen for like months and months amount of time. So for you, stick to 3 videos a week, but like that's great, but maybe make that one longer form video, like 15 to 20 minutes, just kind of really push yourself to add a few more examples, a few more slides, different stuff like that. Or like if you want to do more content but don't really want to do the whole, don't want to add a bunch of effort, do some type of interviewing series where it's just for 10 or 15 minutes you're either interviewing your clients or important people in your network, and you're just shooting the shit, just kind of chopping it up on specific topics or values that's around your niche. And interviews is the easiest way to create tons of content, because if you ask them one question and they have a good response, boom, that's a video. Over if you ask someone 10 different questions over 15, 20 minutes, you might have 10 1-minute little video snippets, and then that person who you created this cool content, or that your editing team kind of created these little snippets from off these YouTube interviews, they might go post it, and it might even drive traffic back to your channel, so you kind of get like a little collaboration there.
Yeah, one of the problems I have with interviews is that then there's people who want me to interview them to promote them, and I'm not interested. Like they're more interested in me.
You don't have to say yes to them. If
I know, but there are some that just get in the weird space of like,
I mean, it's your brand, it's your platform, right? Like,
I understand.
If people are reaching out to you and you're like, no, I'm good. I know if it's like a friend and they want to interview.
It's that side where it's like, I don't want to. I just know that there's people that I won't have anything to do with. Not interested, and I'm nice enough that I can't piss too many people off.
That's totally fair.
So I have a little bit of that problem. Let me ask you this. If I share my screen for just a second,
Yeah, absolutely.
let me share it, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is what I use to check it out. And I am afraid that, let me see, I use this. So here's my my views and my information, right? Is this me? Yeah, this should be me, right? I think that's me. Hours watched, last 48 hours. Yeah. I get concerned because I think I'm producing content, but I don't think I'm getting the watches or the amount of watching that I need.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I mean, YouTube is a very organic based platform. So like, unless you can do, a viral ad or like something crazy, it's hard to generate that attention quickly versus like on LinkedIn and Facebook and some of these other platforms. That's why for YouTube, I'm kind of recommending just more of a longer term strategy of just putting out more content, having more SEO. So yeah, there aren't like kind of growth hacks that you can, unless you do like a collab, right? Like if you do an interview with some, high level person and then they go post on their YouTube channel, they have 100,000 subscribers. I mean, that would definitely.
Well, that's why I'm trying to the reaction, because I think the reaction video with Gary Stearns, because there's not a lot of them. There's only like 2 out there. So I'm hoping that the reaction video is one of those, because there's not many out there.
Yeah, but definitely. I'll be curious to see that. I want to check it out. And if that's something that works for you, then just having more kind of funny comedical stuff like that will be fun for you. Like that's where, content that where you're just kind of playing, but it's also like performing well. It has that entertaining value, but also kind of value as well. Like, that's what I encourage a lot of content creators to think about content. Like, what's that piece of content where you're just playing, like you're not even having to work hard. So like whether it's education or these kind of reaction videos, like that, that's great. Because ultimately,
that is. I put out my April Fool's video, which I thought was kind of fun too. I was like, well, it was just casual, but I put it out there anyway. April Fool's joke. So go ahead, keep going. This is wonderful, Jeremy. Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, so that was pretty much YouTube. You're honestly doing like a lot of good stuff there, but just a few things from an SEO content side of things you can just increase a little bit. And I don't really have like a growth like a growth hack strategy for YouTube. It's mostly just like try to get more content out, and you hopefully just increase more attention with the algorithm, hopefully in your favor with SEO, that kind of stuff. For LinkedIn, like I've got a few things for your profile. So maybe one thing for your banner is instead of just like your name, you could have like a picture of you. Like for example, my LinkedIn banner is a picture of me speaking, and it's instant authority. It's instant kind of social proof. And so like, maybe you have a picture like that. You see 2 different pictures speaking. I love this. This is awesome. I'm guessing your connected rep or someone helped you, or maybe you had this already.
I had that. I've done.
That's really good. This highlights thing is a really kind of cool thing. That have you experienced with highlights much on your profile?
No, not at all. But I have a client that has a couple out there, but I haven't even explored it.
Yeah, like my mindset is, LinkedIn pages, especially since you're running connected sequences, it's almost like a landing page. So just having as many like features and assets and things that like, creates, signals authority, signals leverage, and all these different kind of things. And also like that ecosystem, right? If you have people who are watching content, they want to learn more from you, giving them that better access. Like if you go to my profile, you scroll down immediately, okay, boom, there's an article that I was on for 9 marketing trends in 2020. This was an article, meet Jeremy Miller, head of this company. I have a video on like why I exist, and I'm diving into my passion and I have the story of overcoming depression, all those kind of things. And so should I
put some of my videos on in here then? Is that what you're suggesting? Should I put them as organic, not YouTube then?
Yep, not YouTube. I wouldn't honestly recommend putting YouTube links or links in general on social media ever. Just like try to do that. But
understood.
Yeah, this feature section is just a really nice section to just get people to see more content, and it just looks more aesthetic and professional. So the content that I would suggest is either high level press or videos. So if you have press, whatever signals most authority, put those there. So just kind of going down your profile here. So the kind of growth hack strategy that I recommend for people with LinkedIn is commenting on people's posts, which I'm guessing you're doing that already.
My guy does that.
Okay, he does that. Okay, so they see going to like say your niche or your topic or your vertical is coaching, which obviously seems pretty relevant with Action Coach. Is he going to like the top kind of influencers in those spaces and commenting like really interesting, thoughtful posts on those posts? Because like that's what I've seen is the meta hack for Twitter, for Reddit, for LinkedIn, is identifying who are the top influencers in your topic or niche who's like consistent posting content, and then adding a ton of value in the comment section, because you'll get a bunch of people to like it. They might even like it. So that actually increases your chance of building a relationship with that person. It might lead to a collab or something, content based in the future. But then B, like that comment section is just gold to get new eyeballs. And if you're putting like an interesting comment, like that's just a quick way to drive some attention. So I recommend like 15 very intentionally thought out, knowledge-based comments on some high-level influencer posts every single day. It's just like a daily activity that you can have your guy doing.
Yeah, I'm not certain he's going to be able to comment on influencers the way I would like him to comment on influencers. So I have to think about what I expand that to a VA kind of person. Yeah.
So it is a VA.
No, he's not a VA, but I'm not. He's I've kept him just because he's keeping things warm, but not because he's like forward thinking.
Sure. So
because I do a lot of my own content, so that's why I didn't worry about that. But
so like
if I'm going to step him up, I need to step up as well.
So like what I've done for myself with that little comment strategy, I literally have like a checklist, a Google Doc of like the 15 profiles on Twitter and on LinkedIn of people. So if you want, maybe you can do it for yourself. If you have the 10 or 12 people who you want to, they're a big industry, like a topic leader in the industry, you just spend like 10 or 15 minutes each day going to each of their profiles, finding, some of their posts and just commenting really interesting stuff. Yeah. If you spend 10 to 15 minutes a day doing that on LinkedIn, that'll be a nice little kind of, as well as posting content, right? So like, that's like the one thing to pull people to your channel, but to like increase the retention rate, if you will, on people like actually engaging with your stuff is, just being consistent on content, which you obviously know that.
Okay.
Rest of your LinkedIn's pretty good. I like how you have all your profile pictures consistent on each profile. You do have a little bit of brand continuity, even though you were saying you don't have much brand. But as you can kind of just add more banners and add more featured content, and also just be producing more content and just kind of having this more singulated focus, which I think the topic wheel could kind of really kind of give some of that direction. It's just gonna, like, people know when you walk into a room, PJ, they know the type of things that you can give value on. They know the type of things you're passionate about, and everything that we're doing here is just to like increase, just the awareness of people know, why you're valuable.
Yeah, my Instagram, I am not an Instagram person.
Do you want to be?
I don't think my people are out there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're probably not. And so if Instagram isn't something that you want to focus on, I literally recommend people do not focus on it. I mean, maybe not shutting it down. Like maybe you could just add like a bio and just a few things, so people might just search you up on Instagram. And so just having like your website link and a bio, just so that it's there, people might search you up as you're building your brand.
The problem with Instagram now is at Clubhouse. I've been on Clubhouse, and Clubhouse,
cool.
I've been working on Clubhouse a little bit.
Cool.
I'm kind of neither here nor there. It's Clubhouse.
Yeah, and Instagram just takes a lot of effort, and I don't really recommend it if someone doesn't want to get excited. So if you just want to treat it like just almost like a landing page, just put like your bio, your website link, that kind of stuff.
I had a personal one. I was doing more personal, and then I'm like, shit, Clubhouse wants everybody to go there, and I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be either or, right? Like you can just have like a bio and just like put Instagram aside. You don't only have to think about it all. And Clubhouse is interesting. If you can get into the right kind of groups and just be able to deliver value quickly, and like the audience in that group is like like the community is pretty strong, like it is pretty interesting. Like I've been able to see a lot of influencers and kind of authority-based people grow really, really fast in Clubhouse by getting into the right rooms. And so if you know of people in your network who are having big rooms, collaborate with them on some kind of show or some kind of thing. And I definitely think Clubhouse has some fluff for sure. They're definitely not valued $4 billion. Like that's absolutely ridiculous. But if you
it feels like a pissing match. That's all it is
a lot of it is that
just
there definitely is a lot
their
of
chests. I'm like, what the heck?
There definitely is a lot of that, but there are some rooms that like it's good, and there's like all.
So I hosted a room a couple weeks ago and stuff, and we were playing with it. There was a group of us action coaches that were playing with it, and it was fun. It was fine. I got some followers and stuff, but my Instagram is what they link to Clubhouse for some reason.
I see what you're saying.
So that's where it's like, I mean, that's the only way to DM people is you have to have Instagram or Twitter. And both my Instagram and Twitter are my least favorite, least developed of anything. So of course on Clubhouse, I'm like, shit, now I got these other channels that I have to figure out whether I do it. So I've kind of said, leave Instagram, go. Twitter I use for sports is all I use. I primarily use it for sports. And is it a problematic if I just kind of not use them at all?
Not at all. You know, like I recommend people to do it, the 80-20 rule. Like spend 80%, some maybe even 90% of your time efforts on like the 1 or 2 channels that makes the most sense for you,
Yeah.
where the content you're producing, like you're having fun with. If there's channels that is just, you know, just the B word to like work with, and it's just not even worth it, I do
Twitter.
not recommend trying it, because it's just gonna be a waste of your time, you know?
I'm not on Twitter personally because I follow a lot of sports, but I'm not on there for anything, very little professionally. And same
So
is true for Instagram. So I have an Instagram. So what it sounds like is I probably should just turn that one off, not off, but turn it into more personal and then create a business one.
so you're thinking 2 Instagram profiles?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out because I use Instagram.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend honestly 2 Instagram profiles unless you really want to like put a lot of effort into it. You know, like if you have 2 Instagram profiles, then it's just going to be more effort for you. But since you don't really want to do much personal stuff, I would just recommend keeping this, kind of personal profile right here, but just add some things, some accolades, right? Like, you have, some accolades, you've been in some press, you have, like a bio section, you have a good website. So maybe just posting, some of those on your bio, and then maybe just 2 or 3 posts, and then that was just a landing page, right? You don't ever have to do anything. You don't ever have to post something, but
I keep it private anyway.
yeah. So like, honestly, okay. Yeah, that is a good point. Do you want to keep it private?
Well, that's because it wasn't intended to ever be business.
Right.
It was intended to be personal. It was just a way to communicate with people, because a lot of people DM and stuff like that in Instagram. So it was a way to connect with some folks through DM more than anything. So do I need to open it up?
All these 109 posts, would you be okay if everyone, if the whole world saw all these 109 posts?
Yeah, I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I have foster kids, and so sometimes if I highlight them, I have one in particular that their mom. Yeah, I don't like them to follow me.
Sure.
I mean, I don't like, so I have to block some people, and I have to do stuff like that to kind of, because there's addiction and stuff that I just don't want to be in the middle of.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's ultimately up to you. If you don't want to do anything with Instagram, no problem at all, right? YouTube and LinkedIn is working for you, so that's great. Double down on those. But if you do just want to have a little bit of a leverage point here, I would recommend, you don't have to make a profile, but maybe just adding a bio and a website. Because even if your profile is private, I don't see all your posts, I can see your bio. Oh, that's who you are. That's affirming. Oh, you got a website link. Okay, cool. That's affirming.
Okay, got it.
But going back to LinkedIn, since this is your main platform, what all content are you posting on LinkedIn? Are you posting the actual blogs on the profile as well?
You see my activities? You can't see my activities, can you there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you probably can.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So my LinkedIn guy does a lot of reposting, a lot of curating, and then I'll put my social media, or my blog poster will put my posts up there. I don't put all my YouTube videos up there, but I do put some of them. Like once a week, I'll put one of them up there. So it just depends. A lot of it's recurated posts.
Okay. Okay. So high level, here's some ideas for the content that you're posting. One, I'll encourage there to be a caption on every single post. For the captions that you're posting, LinkedIn has this weird thing of spacing. So you have this big paragraph, but having your guides, but okay, after the first sentence, you're spaced. Maybe every sentence or every 2 sentences having a spacing. If there's a big block of text, people are just turned off. So spacing up the captions a little bit more. Something that I think maybe you could encourage your guy to do, or maybe, I don't know, maybe that this isn't worth the effort if he doesn't know how to do it. But if you make this post, right, about how to stay motivated, when you're supposed to be the motivator, and of 3 or 4 people who you've talked to in your network, who this is something that they talk about or something that is interesting to them, and you put at the bottom of the caption, hey, so, what do you think, right? And then they'll be, oh, cool, you're asking me for my opinion. Naturally, I'm gonna want to, say something that then they'll comment. Then your comment guy can reply to the comment, and then just that little extra interaction over time can just drive more attention here. I don't see very many actual cold native videos. Are you posting native videos?
I do sometimes, but I'm doing that more than so. Oh, you mean, I'm sorry, native videos. LinkedIn Live type things.
Okay, cool. You're doing those.
No, but I haven't done them in a while. You saw my grand reopenings and my stuff like that on my YouTube channel. I did that all last summer. I did, I don't know, 60 grand reopenings and went out to businesses and stuff like that during the pandemic. Those are being reposted sometimes. If you go down a little bit in my playlist.
Yep, I've seen these.
Yeah, there they are, all those grand reopenings. And
Yeah,
then you go
these are
down
good.
even further, there's, where are they?
Yeah, like
Shop
all of these
local.
videos, you should be posting all of these on LinkedIn. Like this stuff is great. If you had like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is all great stuff. And so if you posted, these videos and then just have like a decent like caption where there's a little bit of spacing, it's delivering a little bit of value. Maybe you tag 2 or 3 people who are relevant. You can always tag Devin and all of us like partners. We'll always go and engage on that. If you tag me, like I'll always go engage with it. But yeah, I mean honestly, you got a lot of great video content. So keep posting like what you're already doing. Obviously, maybe do some stuff with
He was,
caption.
well, and this one, I don't know why there's a bunch of stuff up there. If you go down, he started reposting my grand
Oh, cool.
reopenings. Like that one I did, that's a 75 hard. I was
Nice.
stupid enough to sign up for that. Yeah, it was a moment of weakness. That pisses me off because that newsletter thing is garbage, but go up a little bit. That one pisses me off, but that's mine. That one I
Oh,
did.
that's awesome. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got some good engagement.
Keep
Yeah,
going
just
down.
make sure he's replying to just all the comments.
Yeah, but if you keep going down a little bit more, he did some grand reopenings. He's posted some of my grand reopenings. Like that one I posted.
Nice.
That's one of my new ones. So yeah, we are posting some of those. That's one of my webinars up a little bit further. The purple girl, the girl in the purple right there.
Mhm.
A webinar. So I'll do an event on there and stuff. That just depends.
Yeah, I would just.
Those are newsletters.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There's
Yeah.
a YouTube video.
Just in the last week or so, I don't think I posted some.
Yeah, I would just space out the caption a little bit more, and then just do more native video. Native video does really, really well, and just straight up text posts too. Like just straight up text posts with no pictures, no video. They do really, really well on LinkedIn. It's interesting. Like pictures and videos, they definitely do well, but just straight up text posts where like the copy is kind of organized in a nice way. So if you like to do writing, like ever or a little bit writing, like maybe a good just purely text post 2 or 3 times a week, I think would be a good just kind of extra content format.
I can grab one of my blogs and
yeah, exactly, just taking
10 years of blogs.
Boom.
10 or 11 years of weekly blogs.
Yeah, I mean shoot,
Yeah.
you'd have a lot. So yeah, more videos, native videos, adding a little more spaces, doing more text posts. Honestly,
when you say native, you're saying
native, like
MP4s, not
exactly.
not YouTube's. Okay,
Not
you don't
the
mean live.
Correct.
Okay, just to make sure you don't mean live. You just mean put them up native. Okay.
MP4. Yep.
But what about thumbnails then? Do you not need thumbnails on those?
There's a way to upload. I believe I know there
Okay.
is a way to do Facebook and Twitter, like to upload a custom thumbnail whenever you do a native video. I'm pretty sure that there's a way. So
Okay,
you have
I'll look
amazing
at it.
thumbnails, and so every single way that you can like add a thumbnail, I definitely recommend because you have
Okay, I just want to make sure because the thumbnails, otherwise it looks like it's the same damn content every time. Because you're sitting in the same spot.
Yeah, I mean, you could always like if it's episodic content, you could change up the thumbnails a little bit, like episode 6 or like that kind of stuff.
Anyway, as long as I can put thumbnails on them. Otherwise, if without thumbnails, I look like I'm in the same place. So I want thumbnails.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's like kind of high level, some social strategies, a few things.
You didn't talk about Facebook.
Oh yeah. I have it.
Any reason?
No,
Facebook's been
it was on a different URL. That's why I didn't have it. Okay, yeah. So Facebook. So a couple things.
I have 3 Facebooks.
You have
Let me
3.
describe.
Okay.
I have a private Facebook. I have a personal Facebook. I have a professional Facebook, and I have a business I have a company Facebook. I only started the professional page, which is this one, about a year ago.
Okay.
Because my personal one is personal, and I just felt like I was too many people wanted to know me.
When you say personal, do you mean your profile?
No, actually, Facebook has what's called personal and professional.
Yeah. So do you mean like your Facebook business page, like for your personal, or like what do you mean when you say personal?
I have a personal, which is just a general personal page. It's nothing. It's my personal page. I have a professional page. This is the professional page.
Okay.
And when you sign up and you say, I want a new Facebook page, it says, what kind of page? And I said, professional.
Right.
So this is a professional page. And then I have a company page.
Yeah. Okay.
But my personal page used to be where I posted everything. And I pretty much made it super private because I I want to drive people to this page.
What's your personal page called? I'm just curious.
Well, I think it's the same name, it's just, it's harder to find. PJ Weiland. Let me see. You probably can't find it. I've hidden it because I'm tired of people going to that page wanting to be my friend, and I want them to be on my professional page.
Was it this page?
That's the one, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is a profile. It technically isn't a page, it's a profile. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend doing like anything with your profile. You just want to keep it family and friends. But okay, cool. So then you have this personal professional profile. That's right here.
So I have my professional,
Cool.
yeah.
And then what's your company page called?
Action Coach PJ, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, nice. You have 800 likes. Cool. Is there one of these that you would want to focus on, or is that just kind of like a question for
The
you?
one I want is the professional page.
Okay, cool. That's what I'd recommend.
Yeah,
Cool.
I wanted to get out of the Action Coach one is there because I kind of needed it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a placeholder. But my Coach PJ one is the one I want. Problem is, I had 10 years of people on my personal one that I'm trying to shift over.
Would you be easily able to? There's a way to invite all your friends.
I
from your
did.
Profile. Okay, you did that. Okay, cool. Cool.
But it still takes a long time because they don't think they need to because they're already my friend.
Yeah. The one kind of advertising audience that is really powerful for Facebook, like profile page or like business pages like this, even though it's a personal, is targeting people who like your page and their friends. So that's going to really, like, if you have the best type of people who like your page and their friends. So if I go to one of my pages,
because I can promote on this one, which is why I got out of my personal one, because I was like, I can't do shit on there. I can't. I have to be able to do it on my professional page.
So this will look like, this is Devin's Y video. It's one of the most powerful pieces of content that we've made for him, and I'm gonna actually talk about this in a second because I think this would be great content you can make. So a really powerful form of just targeting to target your existing community and people who are friends of your community and all that kind of stuff is this audience right here.
Friends of friends, friends of my friends.
Yep, that one right there. People who like your page and their friends. Super, super powerful. So if you have someone like a Y video, like what I call evergreen content, you basically want to be targeting these people for $1 a day, $2 a day, forever. You know, just constantly tripping them and tipping them because what we're constantly hitting them on the timeline. Because what's going to happen is whenever people see that ad, when they're being targeted by that, it's going to say, oh, this person who you know likes this page. And they're gonna be like, oh shoot, well, PJ's putting amazing dope content on this page. Why am I not following it? I already have people who I know. It removes that kind of like fear of should I follow this person? So this is a really kind of powerful growth audience that I recommend.
So what about my new, because I just put up that new video, the new promo video. That sounds like the Y.
Yeah, well, I'll kind of break down the Y video kind of for you because I like a specific process.
Because you know what I'm talking about, the other video that I just did. It was highly more edited than all the rest of my videos. It's the last one that just was bounced up there. It was, here's who I am and here's what I do and here's.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that might work. But okay, so just high level, a few things for the Facebook pages you can be doing. Putting a video for your banner. Videos are really good banners for Facebook.
On my banner, okay.
On your banner. When I do encourage you to make a Y video, like in a specific way that I encourage it, pinning that to the top of your page. So if you go to the Facebook page, the first video that you see is this powerful video of Devin sharing their story, and it's emotional. It's got all this engagement, like, okay, boom, social proof, right? When I go to the page. So having a really powerful, emotional, story-based video pinned to the top of your page here is good. Those are the two big things, having a video banner there, having a Y video there, pinned at the top, the about section. I'm guessing, you know, a lot of the stuff you already have filled out. There's a lot more options on this about section that they've added just in the past year or so that maybe you haven't added. And I would encourage you to just fill that stuff out. It's SEO for you. Just kind of helps more people when they're searching it up, or when you're running ads, when people are interested in certain things, it might increase the chance of your ad being seen by those people because you're giving Facebook data like, hey, here's what I care about. So just a few things there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, there's just a few small tweaks on each of your social profiles, and then they'll be looking good. And then from there, it's just about increasing the quality of content that you're pushing out. Like a storytelling piece of content, like a Y video, for example, and then just getting really savvy with that distribution, right? Like, okay, if you can create this content that you're already creating and think about different ways to repurpose it, posting more often, posting native MP4 videos on LinkedIn, different kind of few small tweaks like that. I think you really start to see bit more numbers, more people reaching out to you, more conversations, people saying, hey, you know, PJ, I saw this video, like that was really good. And then what you can do is you can take all this feedback and, you know, all this, you know, more feedback that you're getting from this content. I'm sure you do this already. Then when you're creating more content, you can focus on the content that's been getting the most engagement. You know, you can look back over the last 30 days, but okay, well, these 5, you know, LinkedIn posts, text posts, they got the most amount of content. So maybe I should not only create some blogs around that content, but maybe you could create some more specific social posts on that, you know, same piece of content. I really like to encourage a lot of people to just amplify what's working for you, going back and looking at which piece of content has the most amount of views. I'm sure you do this already, but asking yourself, what about this, you know, got people's attention? Oh, in the first 10 seconds, I went right to the point. I didn't have any intro. Maybe I should do that more in the future for videos, different stuff like that. Does that all kind of make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. So one of the last things before we go into your topic wheel is, have you seen Devin's Y video?
I've seen Devin. No, I have not watched it.
Okay, so
I've never seen it until just now.
Tell me if the audio is like really, really terrible. Tell me if you can hear this. I can't even.
No.
Yeah.
You know how to do it. Just hit that button at the bottom when you share. Unshare. And now when you share, before you hit the screen, there's a little button at the very bottom corner. I'm a Zoom person.
Oh, sure. Oh, wow. I mean, I use Zoom all the time. I didn't even know that was the thing. Although usually I'm on my MacBook, I'm on my PC.
Hey, I'm a Zoom person. This is what I do. I teach it.
I really didn't know what to do with myself at the time. I do remember about.
Okay, cool.
What was life like for you growing up?
Yeah, so in the very beginning, pretty normal, you know, besides my dad being absent for the first 9 years, my mom took very good care of me. Normal childhood, played sports, rode dirt bikes, you know, grew up in a nice neighborhood. But then my sister got diagnosed with cancer going into my freshman year. 4 days after, my best friend committed suicide. So it was a very dark time, I think absolutely rock bottom that anyone could be in. My father was in the picture at the time, but stepped away for a year when my sister was sick, and it became a madhouse. My mom was immediately let go from her job. We were on the brink of losing everything, and I couldn't accept my mom losing, you know, the home, the lifestyle, the everything. I really didn't know what to do with myself at the time. I do remember about 2 weeks after my sister being diagnosed, I just wanted to do something for her and for the family and not just be a victim. It even went through the school systems where starting my junior year when I had my license, they let me go half day so that I could step out and work and actually provide. I had about $400 saved from the summer prior baling hay. I had a passion for shoes. So I took that $400, I bought one of the rare pairs on release day, flipped it for a $200 profit, and I was addicted to reselling shoes from there and just fell in love with the entrepreneur lifestyle at that point. I got into digital marketing as I was slowing down with the trade shows on sneakers. I was wanting to do it online somehow, some way. Now I was friends with Elliot at the time, and he was doing digital marketing, going through the learning curve of what digital marketing actually was, and I became obsessed with it. So we YouTube University our way to figuring out how to build websites. And so we spun up a small agency. We were either getting clients from family referrals or manually reaching out on LinkedIn. And so that's when the light bulb moment went off for me. And I had just got hit with an ad about how powerful LinkedIn was in general. And we drew it out on a napkin, the first iteration of a logo, a whole 9 yards on that piece of notebook paper and napkin, all right there. That night, I knew deep down this is what I wanted and this is what I wanted to do. I remember my first 30 days locking myself in the small office that I had at the time. Only sold from using the first round of the software, people I would meet through LinkedIn, and close to $72,000 in business in the first 30 days. I said, this is it. We have to run with it. I believe that the digital landscape of business in general is way too complicated, right? And so with Connected, We are going to simplify and automate these processes that have been overcomplicated for years and really clear a path that people can understand and feel confident about growing their business online. My name is Devin Johnson, co-founder and CEO at Connected.
So you kind of get the idea. Basically, it's like the hero's journey, right? Okay, so here's where I was, this emotional story that sparked passion and a mission and purpose. And I dove into entrepreneurship. And now that I've got, like this passion even more, a little bit of the successes, my why is to impact people. And, it's basically like this journey, right? So it's that kind of hero's journey. This is something that honestly, I think all entrepreneurs should make. It's leveraging off of like what, Simon Sinek talks about, start with why. Here's a video of me kind of sharing my why video, but then also breaking down actually how to make a why video on stage. This was last summer. I was talking to like over 400 chiropractors and doctors, and really anyone who is mission based, they can make a why video. And I've seen it consistently for all across brand, all different types of brand styles, from high enterprise brands to personal brands. This type of content kind of shared in this way can be evergreen content. It can be, shown before you speak on stage. It can get, like, I've gotten a lot of my press. I've been on Forbes, multiple different times, Inc. magazine. I'm verified on Twitter, verified on these different platforms, and a lot of it came down from the why videos that I made over the last couple of years for myself. And then I'll just target the media on Facebook. Well, I'd get a bunch of attention, get a bunch of views on like a why video like this. Then once it got a bunch of social proof, then I target the media on Facebook, like journalists and news corporations, that kind of thing. They'd see this powerful, just emotional, inspirational story, and they'd reach out, hey, Jeremy, we'd love to interview you. Can we talk about it? Or a podcast or like that kind of stuff. So if you're wanting to do podcasts, wanting to get press, or just have more attention around your brand for why you do what you do, and really like have that as like a strong foothold for why people know why you do why you do what you do. A why video can be a really good asset to do that.
One's trying to sell something, or they're trying to educate something, but a why video is like a perfect opportunity for you to like share that internal story. Like maybe you've heard of the hero's journey, or maybe you had some kind of sacrifices that led you to starting your own business, and a why video is a great place to be able to do that. So I'm gonna give my why video, and again, I just want to preface, it's part of my mission to be extra transparent, but a why video is also a place to be transparent. So when I was 7 years old, I was sexually abused, and maybe some of you might be able to relate to that. Maybe you know someone, but having an experience like that at such a young age is pretty traumatic. It makes you have depression, it makes you confused with your identity, you're angry, and especially at that young age, you don't even know what to do with all these emotions. In middle school, I was getting kicked out of school because I was an angry person. I was running away from home, starting to smoke cigarettes, and I was just trying to find this like purpose in life, trying to fill this void in my soul with different things that the world was telling me. By freshman year of high school, I was doing drugs, having sex with girls, going to parties. I just wanted to feel like I belonged. I have an alien tattoo because I literally felt alienated from society. And it wasn't until my sophomore year of high school where things got so bad and I had an attempt on my life. And I'm super grateful that I survived, but that trial and that tribulation led me to a mentor, and this mentor taught me how to serve other people. And he taught me how, instead of trying to make yourself happier, instead of trying to like just serve yourself, if you serve other people, that gives you real fulfillment. All of you are business owners, you're all healing people, you probably relate to that. It's a deeper level of satisfaction, fulfillment than a party or you hitting like a good golf game or something. It's just much deeper. And so I believe at its core, entrepreneurship is just a way to serve people, to fill conveniences in the marketplace and to help people. So my name is Jeremy Ross Miller. I'm a Vice President of Marketing at Connected, co-founder of the Startup Foundation, and a senior partner at Novelty Growth.
So starting out when I was sharing some kind of story, maybe your sister got cancer 10 years ago and that inspired you to go to X, whatever that was, that led you to doing something interesting, starting a business, being a coach, being a speaker, whatever. And because of that, you believe through this venture, through your passion, that you can help people have more joy in life, have more peace of life, be able to spend more time with their family, like whatever that kind of mission is for you, whatever that why is for you. And then you end with, and my name is Jeremy Ross Miller. I'm blank. Because if you start out with that, people don't really care who you are. They've seen titles and all that kind of stuff. But if you start with when I was, people know there's a story. So I would really encourage you. And like, I've got process and checklists on like how to, make with like videos like this. I've shot hundreds, over the last 5 to 7 years and can give you examples. But if you like this kind of narrative of like really broadcasting why you do what you do, which I believe will really play into that leverage aspect, because, when you're sharing that kind of emotional transparency, you're just stepping into a whole new, field of branding. Like, when you're able to share that story, something like what I shared on that story, people are like, wow, like I'm inspired by. Like, I'm not even really looking up to you for advice and, business advice. Like, I'm literally inspired by you. So what's going to happen is people are going to share that content. They're going to talk about you when they're talking to their other business coworkers. They're not just going to talk about you and the value that you have. They're going to share this emotional story about your life or about your why. Like, we as humans, we're socially rewarded when we can share that emotional story. I believe, like, if you were to look at communication 2,500 years ago between humans, they'd be around a campfire or something like that. They're most likely sharing the same level structure of stories that we're sharing 2,500 years later. Like, that kind of hero's journey, something bad happens, someone learns something, and so they take what they learned and they take what they did to go help more people, right? Like that basic structure. We just have different tools and much easier tools to be able to share that story. So why videos is something that I definitely recommend. And so for you, for your Twitter account, for your Facebook account, for your LinkedIn, taking that decently production made video, why video, and pinning it to the top of your Facebook public figure page, that like professional page, pinning it to the top of your Twitter profile if you want to do Twitter, and then making that some of your featured content on your LinkedIn. Because anything, like, for example, that video that you just watched right there, that video that you watched of Devin, if that was the first piece of content that you saw, you might be like, wow, like this person is interesting, they're inspirational. I want to know more about where this person is at now that I kind of know why they do what they do. It's like,
let me ask you this, because I've seen these and the hero's journey and things like that. I got to tell you, Jeremy, I really struggle with this area. And listen to Grant Cardone or all these Clubhouse people, all this other crap, right? And I don't. My story is so idyllic that it's totally like, I can't even tell you how idyllic it is. Like, it is not even. It's hard to even imagine. People tell me that all the time. They're like, really? How does that, like, no one lives like that. No one was raised like that.
What do you mean?
There's no trauma. There's no interesting things. I mean, they're not interesting. I'm one of 8 kids. I'm number 7. My parents were together until my mother passed away last year. She lived in 91. I married my 18 years old. I met my husband. I've been married for 32 years. I have 2 kids. I have foster kids. To me, it's the stories that I have to tell tend to be other people's stories. And I don't think that's appropriate. And that's why I struggle.
Yeah, so I actually appreciate sharing that, because I've done a lot of just like work with personal branding. And so I've heard that before. And so usually what I say to something like that is I would actually argue that even though your story feels, well, let me first ask you this. Do you feel like right now in your life you are you're successful and joyful, you're spending time in the way that you want to, you have freedom, you feel, you obviously probably have more ambitions and goals, but do you feel like you're at a point in your life where, not at least right now, that not many people can get to, or
Yeah.
not can get to, but are at in their life?
I think the answer is yes. I'm not certain you asked the question right, but I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, you did what I said. So the reason why I asked that is because you're exactly right. Like, so many times when we're hearing these entrepreneur stories, it was depression, it was rape, or like suicide, like there's all these kind of things. You're like, well, how do I compete with that? But if you're wanting to market to these different types of people, not everyone is going to have that like ridiculous, crazy hero's journey story. So your story being idyllic, that's still your story, and you might actually even have more people relate to you. But that is honestly just more reason for your business strategy and like how you approach business. And you're just, maybe it's more structured, maybe it's more systematized, whatever that might be. It's not up and down and crazy and you had all these experiences. If it was like this gradual growth, like that's still a valuable story. People still want to hear that. It's actually interesting that you had 8 siblings and all these kind of things. So I would just really encourage you to maybe just step back and really reflect, like, okay, maybe even though your story isn't like this crazy, like, okay, you're down in the dumps and whatever, and then you kind of rose from these ashes, like, it doesn't always have to be that dramatic. But there might have been some times in your life where maybe you did kind of question what your purpose was, or maybe
let me share that. Let me ask you this. I received an award for because there's a whole section of my life that I don't talk about. A lot of people know I do it. I go into this inner city and I volunteer every Saturday and I work with the mission, and I raised $250,000 last year for,
Oh, wow.
with a sister running on a treadmill. I had her win a Guinness Book of World Record to do that. So we put her on she ran a marathon on a treadmill. First person to ever do that, first woman to ever do that. So we got a Guinness World Record. So we feed 20,000 people a week into Michelin stuff. So I do my philanthropy, my volunteer work, my other things. I took in a homeless kid 2 years ago. He's now in the military. Like, so I take, he was homeless. He needed a place to go. He wanted to get in the military, took him in, took in his buddy who also wanted to go in the military. So we got him in the military. So, just different things like that, because I can. My husband's a minister. He's a deacon in a church. So we have some whole other element there. So I have some really unusual situations. This is one that, and so I struggle with it because it's idyllic in many ways, right? It's like, I remember my foster kid was like, no one lives like this, this, right? And I was like, yeah, I kind of know this.
But that's still a story. I wouldn't, I'd argue that doesn't mean that people don't want to hear a story like that, just because it's not, people, it's probably gonna be refreshing to some people that, like that idyllic kind of mood or vibe that you have with your story. Like, I would argue if you were to put it in like a 2 or 3 minute video, even though it's not, just crazy emotional, people are still going to love it and they're going to feel like they're learning a little bit more about you. And if there's some point in your life that you can, maybe it's not this.
So what about this? This is the one that comes to mind. So I did I got an award for Volunteer of the Year last year for the work I did. So this is, these are like snippets that I think resonate with where I think you're headed.
Yep.
But the answer is always yes. Is this, this seems to be,
Absolutely. No, yeah, this is, like I show people that like kind of here's why I do it, I believe statement, that kind of structure. But really a why video can be any type of way that you want to make it, right? So if you can share that like that background original story, okay, you're a little bit about your upbringing, a little bit about the kind of revelations that you've had for your life as you've kind of grown up in your career and kind of expanded your family and you've been there, like what are some affirmations that have been important for you and coming to terms for why you do what you do. And if you can tie a story like that or tie some of those things to what you do right now, that's the that's all the why videos. Like sharing that story and then leading that up to, I believe entrepreneurship can help me impact more. I believe being in business for myself or being a coach can put me in a position to impact more people. That's why I have
my mission and purpose is to inspire and encourage others to reach their full potential.
Okay, perfect. Boom.
So that kind of gets into that, but it's just, so yeah, it's just not a quote unquote or hero's journey in what you see in the press or in the the general mainstream.
Yeah,
very different path, shall I say.
Yeah, it might not be like that, like that typical hero's journey, but it's still like hearing about your upbringing, hearing about like kind of how you got to where you are, but why like those different core elements, the experiences that you've had in your life, whether it's something traumatic or not, maybe it's just you're just learning these different things as God is speaking into you as you're kind of growing in your family, but you're sharing that kind of like almost transformation that you're having, over your lifetime, and then leading up to why you do what you do, your mission statement, and and those kind of things. So it's really like maybe less about like here's why you do what you do, but PJ, if I were to sit down and we were to talk for 2.5 minutes, and I said, hey, like why do you do what you do? Like tell me like a little about your original story. What would some story might look like, and that could be your why video.
How long are why videos? Good ones?
It's up to you.
6, 8, 10 minutes, depending on what.
I usually recommend like 2 to 3.5 minutes, kind of like on the shorter end, something like that. But if you can make it interesting enough and share a lot of story, make it 5, 6, 7 minutes, I'm
not a lot of stories. They're just not very, they're just more funny than they are.
Well, hey, those are still stories, like I would have, I think you definitely have a lot of more.
I don't want to negate that I don't have them. I just kind of am like, they're not in that vein. They're just more, it was never, down and out and this kind of thing. They tend to be other people's stories. Like my niece, I've taken my daughter and 2 nieces through residential, and one of them graduated on Friday. So able to take them through, and I help, 30 plus kids through residential and their families and stuff like that. So, but I don't talk a lot about it because it's more what I do in my spare time.
Maybe there's some type of like I love episodic content, like content that can be easily like recreated, just like it's like the same kind of episode structure, but it's like a new story. Maybe you can think about some type of like, I know you don't want to do interviews, but maybe it's just some kind of like spotlight video where you're just kind of sharing the story of someone else, and like that could be content that people could like on your YouTube or on like LinkedIn is such a good strong community of just supporting other people and highlighting others. And so if you figured out some kind of content structure where you can share the story of other people in like 1 to 2 minute video fashion, kind of quick, snippet type of thing on LinkedIn, I think that could be some good content you could play with too. Speaking of content, so by the way, so far everything kind of makes sense, somewhat valuable, maybe a little bit, kind of. Okay, cool. So this is kind of the last thing that I just want to dive in. This is what Den was talking about topically. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. As you know, like there's like the main central point, you are the brand. There's kind of 3 to 4 main topics off of that. Off of each topic has subtopics that go a little deeper into like what that niche is. Off of these subtopics, there's even micro topics, even more niche topics. You're diving into like the why, the how, the what of whatever that piece of content is, or their stories of impact, kind of like what we were just saying. And so here's like an example of one, right? So we got Jen Koffel. She's an amazing coach out of Chicago. Her main topics are faith, community, entrepreneurship.
Who is this? I'm in Chicago. I don't know her.
Jen Koffel. Yeah, she's awesome. She's got a really big coaching business, and she has a nonprofit and doing a lot of cool things. So this is Jen. She's got her 4 main topics: faith, mindset, entrepreneurship, community. Some topics off of mindset. Obviously, I'm sure you can think about subconscious mind, belief, personal development, principles. Core genius is one of her things, right? Off of community, she's got gratitude, coaching, philanthropy, empowerment. Off of entrepreneurship, online business, sales funnel, right? All these kind of micro or subtopics off of these kind of main topics, and off the micro topics, there's specific teaching points in each one of those, right? So she has, she talks about, let's say she's got something called core genius. And so within that, she can talk about the Japanese meaning, ikigai, where it's like the meaning for life and how you can kind of formulate that. She talks about this DNA structure. She talks about finding your why. And so what can happen is each one of those little micro topics can be a 15-minute video, it could be a blog, it could be a full webinar, depending on how much you can expand on it. Having all these topics and then taking it to where the magic happens and just repurposing that into different mediums, right? So you can take one of these topics, let's say it's the abundance mindset, right? Within the subconscious mind and belief, you could create a short form blog on the abundance mindset. Let's say you have a podcast, you can have that as one of your topics that you ask people about, or if you're on someone's podcast, that can be something that you bring up. You can create a long form blog, a text post on LinkedIn, maybe it's just a quote, a short form video, 2-minute video. Maybe it's a long form video, a 12-minute video, right? Maybe it's a graphic design, like an infographic, where you're just kind of explaining how the abundance mindset works, something like that. And so this is really where the magic comes from, the topical, right? So you said you really have an endless supply of content ideas, so beautiful, perfect. You don't even really need that first part, but then really kind of diving into kind of really these kind of main, you already have this clearly, I can see that, but then just kind of getting a little bit more creative and just kind of repurposing or reformatting the content that you've already got. Like you literally got so many YouTube videos, and so just kind of cross promote, cross posting, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, that's kind of the last thing. Obviously the topic wheel and the content, a lot of the stuff is stuff that you already know. You could probably teach that, but yeah, that's topic wheel. That's a lot of just kind of content frameworks. Like a why video, I think is something that you could really crush. And I have a blog like on my personal website that kind of breaks down how to create a why video, and it's got a bunch of examples and that kind of stuff, so I can shoot that over to you. I'll shoot this to your email.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. So has this been valuable? Like, is
this is huge valuable, hugely valuable, Jeremy.
Awesome.
This has been excellent, and I gotta start picking off the things that are no-brainers, and then layer in the other things.
Awesome.
Because there's definitely some things that just can change immediately.
And if you want, like, consider, me a friend, like, you've got my email now. So if you have some questions or want me to like look at content or something, like, obviously I might not be able to spend hours, but like, if you just want to shoot me stuff, ideas, just kind of bounce off, like, feel free. You're a customer of Connected, and you're a friend of Devin, and so I want to honor and be able to give as much value as we possibly can.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't want to take advantage of it, but I do appreciate that. It is, it's fun. I mean, I said it's fun to create this stuff, and it's fun to see it play out.
Absolutely.
in that element, and to see the impact. And said I enjoy it, so it's not hard.
Exactly. It's fun to do it, so.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I won't take any more of your time, Jeremy, but I will look at your stuff. I'd love you to look at my reaction videos.
Yes.
So I'm going to send you
put it
2
in the email? Yeah,
videos.
okay, send them to me. Cool.
I'm going to send you 2 videos. One is I took 2 cameras. So one is the actual show playing and me stopping it and starting it.
Okay.
And then one is my reaction to it.
Like the commentary part of it. Okay, cool.
So it's me, it's a picture of me, so they can superimpose them, obviously.
Mhm.
But so it's me reacting to it while the other one is capturing my screen, capturing the video.
Okay, cool. I'm actually kind of excited to check this out.
Have you watched? You haven't watched Undercover Billionaire yet, then, have you?
I know what the content kind of structure and concept is, but I've never actually seen it.
Oh, there, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm excited to do. There's like 9 episodes. This was my version of 1. This is the first episode.
one. Cool.
So it's a long video. So keep that in mind. It's 45 minutes because I watched the whole episode, right?
Cool.
And then they're gonna crop it up. But I do like 3, 2, 1 so they can time it. So there's 2 videos so you can see the element. But it's a great show. I mean, it's
cool. Yeah, no, I'm actually kind of excited to watch it.
but I'm hopeful that we can get through the copyright, all the legalities, so that I don't have problems, because I'll do the other 8 in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if they can say yes, because that's 50 minutes or so, or 45 minutes of content delivery.
Yeah, if it's that long, if you're showing like almost like a full episode, that might be kind of.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do. I think they're gonna just clip it. But
okay,
I think,
yeah, cool.
But I did the whole thing because I have to react the whole thing, and then they choose what they're gonna.
And they can take like 3 or 4 little snippets. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I like that a lot.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we'll see. Because I'm looking for other people to react to, but I want to be careful because you don't poke bears. You don't want to poke the bear. So you
True.
want to. I don't need to be controversial. I'm not
True.
hugely about being controversial. I just want to be educational.
And interesting, kind of comedic, and poke some fun, and not everything has to be all professional. We can.
But I don't want it to be
humorous.
that I poke the bear and they get, just that's not.
Then you get canceled by their fan base or something.
Exactly. Then it's like, people, and that's why I was glad Grant Cardone didn't do the first one. Because he likes to be a little harsh.
Yes.
Where Gary Stearns is a nice guy.
Yeah, he won't care. Grant Cardone, he might see it and might make a video and just like tell everyone to cancel you. You just never know.
Well, and Gary Stern named his company Kind Lending. So he's like, I like to be kind. So I'm not worried about him coming after me.
I'm excited to watch it.
So, okay, well, Jeremy, I'll let you go, but thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
my
I'll be in
pleasure.
touch.
Thank you.
Okay, and you'll just drop me a link to the recording.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'll shoot you a link. I might shoot you like a few other resources as well. But thanks, PJ. Have a good day.
Okay, take care. Bye.